College football brings out a certain camaraderie due to the amount of players on the field and the type of level of intensity that you get on the field that you will never get in another sport. Yo, so YouTube, it's your boy Ro. Today's episode, I'm gonna talk about probably my favorite topic, college football. Yes, I'm gonna talk about my very lucrative and very long and very adventurous college football career. Let's get into it. So, first things first, college football. Man, yeah, I played college ball, graduated high school in 2017. And when I graduated, I was recruited by a lot of Division One schools. Probably the best Division One school that I got recruited by is probably Wake Forest. We had to do these things called camps. For people that didn't know, we do this thing called like college camps. And this is before like all the 707s and stuff was around. Kind of old. It was before the 707s and stuff were around. But we would do like performances at these camps, these skill camps and stuff like that. And I think the head coach now was Coach Clausen. Yeah. So I was recruited by Wake Forest. And my second best offer aside from them was Troy down in like Alabama. And I remember why I didn't end up getting Troy. They ended up taking this other guy who, crazy it is, he plays for the Patriots, I think now. But I'm taking this dude that played football down the street from them and stuff like that. I remember I had the one-on-one meeting with Coach, I think it was Mike Brown. I ended up having like a one-on-one call with him, or a meeting one-on-one, and he was just like, we're gonna take this kid, like y'all both really good, we're gonna take this kid in your position. It was cool. That's one thing that I learned about college football that very much taught me a huge lesson, is that you are valued based on what your value to someone else is. And I'm glad that I went through that, because a lot of guys nowadays, especially if you're not an athlete, if you never went to college, a lot of guys have never truly been told to their face, hey, you're not valuable. And when you're not told that, when the world definitely will treat you like that, like without a doubt, like once you graduate, you get out your parents' nest and parents' bubble, oh yeah, you definitely gonna get told that you're valuable or not. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't get exposed to that at an early age, where you get that rejection, whether it's the job market, a significant other, anything of that nature that you want, if you don't get that at an early age, it's gonna hurt. I remember getting rejected by schools, and I was just like, dang, my dream college school growing up from Louisiana, the boot, LSU, for sure. Like everybody in the boot wanted to go to LSU. My parents, went to college down there in Baton Rouge and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I want to go to LSU, and wasn't good enough. But then when you went down the pipeline of what colleges really want you, and you can told no, like, man, I remember I sent DMs to coaches and stuff back when I had my huddle. I think they still got huddle. But back then when I sent out my huddle, man, some coaches just flat out not respond. Some coaches just flat out just tell you, you're just not good enough. Never forget this. Tell a quick story. I was sophomore in high school. And I had a lot of ball players in my high school. I went to a high school that had people like a big man, a guy named Dylan Mitchell, who went to Oregon. I went to high school. The star basketball player that went to my high school was Chris Chiozza. I was at a high school in Memphis where there's a lot of ball players and stuff. And, I was able to go to certain camps that most kids couldn't get in because of the ball players who was around. Like Dylan was allowed us to go to Alabama. I'm getting coached by Nick Saban, because I play DB. So I'm around Nick Saban. I got to say I was coached by Nick Saban at least once in my life. Shout out to the GOAT. But this one school in particular, Vanderbilt, which is in Nashville, SEC school, this coach told me at the time, I'm still growing, he told me like, man, I think Ro's slow, and I think he's shorter than what he actually is. Like actually what his height is on tape. And it was like some other things he said, but that stung. It really stung, because I've never truly been rejected like that, because I was always like a good athlete growing up. But now once you get in high school, the competition pool is bigger. It ain't mom and pop ball no more, where they telling you good just because. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm getting really rejected. And that hit me so hard, harder than any girl rejected me. It hit me so hard. Man, I wrote it in my notes. and I print that sucker out and put that in my wall in my room everywhere. There was like 10 of them, and I held it up there for like the next 2-3 years. And I think my mom even had it when I went to college, like in my room. It's like memorabilia. Like I printed out what that man said and put it on my wall because I want to wake up every day and say he didn't think I was good enough. And that built the foundation for who I am today. You know, being able to handle rejection and just saying, shoot, the worst they can, I always say this quote, the worst you can say is no. Job, girl, whatever it is, the worst they can say is no. And that messing up my pockets, I ain't even mad at you, you know? So, yeah, so that being said, you know, I was growing, you know, the position I played, right? Because everybody wanted to play like receiver. This is back when Odell Beckham was popping. Everybody wanted to play receiver. Everybody wanted to be the superstar that gets the ball in their hands. And my dad, he was a really good receiver back in the day. You know, he was really cool receiver back in Louisiana. So, and he was a great receiving coach, you know? And he told me, he said, Ro, to be honest with you, based on your height, receiver ain't gonna cut it for you. Mind you, at high school, 5'10", I ended up growing a little bit more in college. So I ended up being like at my pro day, 5'10 and a half, a little bit taller than 5'10 and a half. But even that's too short. I hate to say it, even that's too short. It's crazy to say, it's too short. So my dad was like, play DB. Everybody like DBs. And this is before nickel. The position nickel became a predominant thing. So I was just like, all right, cool. Let's focus on cornerback, you know? Let's focus on playing corner, nickel, you know, slot corner, all that stuff, right? Cool. And once I started focusing on corner, it was pretty easy for me to learn how to play corner. It wasn't that hard. It was pretty easy for me to transition over into the defense. And that's when I started picking up offers. My last year in high school, man, I had one season, like 8 interceptions. It was pretty easy to transition over, and I started getting offers for it. People wanted me to play corner. People thought I was explosive. People thought I was good. I'm getting offers. I'm getting attention. You know, I went to my combines and pro days. Well, not pro days. They call them like the one-on-one camps I told you about. I just said pro day because still fresh in college mind. But yeah, like, you know, I ran the fast 40, ran the 4.4 and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm getting, you know, offers and stuff. But I was BSing. Like, I was taking too long to make decisions, and a lot of people was just taking those last minute spots. And I'm watching my Division I offers leave. Like, it all hit like fast. So the only school that I really had that was like top D1 at the time was Air Force. And you know, that, you know, if you looked at my other video, I said I wanted to go out west. So I was like, all right, cool, let me take a risk on Air Force. You know, I went on my official visit and everything, and I was like, man, let me go out there to Air Force, check that out, you know, see what it is and all that stuff. And it was cool. My parents fell in love with it. You know, they convinced them with the military and life after, you know, sports and stuff like that. But me, I didn't care about none of that. I was just like, I just want to ball. Y'all playing Michigan first game, big house, man, I just want to ball. That's all I care about, man. I ain't got to do basic training. I thought, you know, I was like, man, I just want to ball. So, you know, out of all my options, I took a few visits and stuff. Out of all my options, I ended up deciding to go to the Air Force Academy. So I went to Air Force Academy, my first college, and man, you know, I ain't gonna say too much. I'll make this a whole other episode. I ain't gonna say too much, but what I know now versus then, that is a great college for anybody. Do not get it twisted. But at the time, that sucker was hard. That sucker was hard, man. Basic training and everything I learned in there, that is an episode in itself. Please stay tuned for that. But yeah, I went to the Air Force Academy. In college, I redshirted. You know, I remember talking to Coach Calhoun, and I was just like, man, I ain't gonna play. You know, he wanted me to travel and stuff, and I didn't know if that necessarily meant that I would be, you know, playing, you know, because back then, if you did play one snap, you burnt your red shirt. So I told him straight up, him and my DB coach, like, I ain't playing. Because in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm probably gonna transfer. I actually had it in my notes. If I could actually find those, one in my journal, I had it in my notes that I was gonna leave. But man, let's go down memory lane right quick. I'm gonna show y'all some stuff, man. So this video is a practice, and man, these folks really had me out here. It really had me out here being scout team, like receiver, because I was like a good returner. So I was like scout team receiver and stuff like that. You know, anything to show I'm valuable. But me, I'm just collecting film. I'm just collecting film because I knew one day I would leave. You know, I hate to say it, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I was collecting film because if I had to show coaches where I want to go, you know, I got proof. So now when I ended up leaving, I had to get re-recruited. Now, Back then, the transfer portal didn't exist, so we had to do this thing called 4-2-4 transfer rule, which is if you're at a 4-year college, D1, typically, you have to go to a 2-year college, JUCO, to get recruited, go back D1 without sitting out a year, basically, right? So because of that, you know, a lot of coaches just like, oh, go JUCO, prove it again, JUCO. And I'm 18 at the time, turning 19, and I was like, all right, cool, let me go JUCO. Man, that was the biggest step. At that time, that was, most people I thought it was the stupidest thing I ever did. Like, even people I know to this day, they probably thought it was one of the stupidest things I ever did. You're about to leave a guaranteed military life officer to go to junior college for something that may not even work out. People want certainty. People want things they can know for a fact it's going to happen. But when you bet on yourself, when you look at your cards and say, all right, I like the hand I have, regardless of what everyone else has, you're more likely to win. You are more likely to win. Believe me, you are more likely to win. Bet on yourself. I've been betting myself since I known myself. So 26 years. But this was my first situation where I truly took a bet on myself. So I ended up going to junior college, like I said, middle of Iowa, nowhere. Middle of Iowa, nowhere, you know, and we lost every game but one. We literally lost every game. I mean, when I was in that Iowa place, no cell phone service, you know, it was middle of nowhere. I had no car, you know, and pretty dope. 10 months, you know, so it was cool, but I ended up getting re-recruited. I balled out, thankfully. Took that bet on myself and I'm balling out. So I balled out, and the biggest school I had that I got offered by, I ended up being ranked top 10 corner in my position at the time. What was it, 2018? I was ranked top 10 in the nation, you know, and I ended up getting recruited by a lot bigger schools that I got recruited by than high school, and I was committed to Western Michigan. So look at this, right? So, you know, this was me when I was back in Western Michigan on my visit day. You know, the photo, that was when I committed. Yeah, this is a committed photo. Yep, and when I took the visit, oh yeah, I was committed to Western Michigan. And then another moment came where I took a bet on myself. I got recruited also by a school called Richmond in Virginia, smaller school than Western Michigan. But deep down, I knew I only used football just to meet people and use the opportunity to advance myself outside of football. If my body is the only thing I can use to make money, then I'm susceptible to my body always working. Let me explain that. Some of the greatest athletes we've seen, some of the greatest athletes we know, right, never even made it to the LeBron or Tom Brady longevity because they had one bad injury. Look at Odell Beckham. Look at Penny Hardaway. You know, all those greats who, if that one injury, no, Michael Thomas, one of my favorites. If one of those guys or all those dudes never had that one injury or set up injuries, their careers would have been Hall of Fame easily. And I knew this. I knew that, yeah, there's a lot of money to be made being in the NFL, but you're one injury away from never seeing that money, and now your body doesn't even work. For what sacrifice? We see all these multi-billionaires who have their mind still and make more than them. LeBron is a billionaire for sure, but so is Elon. Everybody knows both. Everyone knows Elon probably more, worldwide at least, you know. So when I got recruited by Richmond, I did a little research on them, and I was just like, that's a really, really smart school. Never heard of them. Really smart school, and weather-wise better than Michigan. Kalamazoo, come on. But I was just like, Richmond, Virginia, I need to go visit. Man, when I brought up that I wanted to visit, everybody stopped. My coaches thought I was tripping. My parents thought I was tripping. And the coach that recruited me for Western Michigan, they threatened to take my scholarship. It was like, if you go on that visit, it's the dirty side of it. If you go on that visit, you're not committed to us no more. You don't have a scholarship. I was scared. I had my parents saying don't do it. I had my coaches saying don't do it. I was scared. But I like betting on my hands. So guess what I did? I took that damn visit. Soon as I stepped off the plane, though, I get that phone call. Hey, Roland, did you get off the plane? Yep. and I'm in Virginia. Damn, Roland, you lost your scholarship just that fast. No second thoughts. Hung up the phone. Never spoke to the coach again to this day. Hey, game is game. It is what it is. So now I have to take this visit to Richmond, and then I ended up liking it. I ended up liking it for what they had to offer, and I committed to them, and I played at Richmond, and, Richmond's my first college experience. So what I mean by played, I played because I was athletically really good to play, but I was a head case. I made a lot of stupid decisions in 1 year before COVID hit. Made a lot of stupid decisions. So let's look at this. Let's look at one of my favorite highlight takes. It's actually the first time I had a pass breakup. There he is. I mean, there him at the top. At the top.
Under Cuffler to the sideline and knocked away.
Yeah.
Complete Roland Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I was a head case. My boy Rick always had to pull me back to the side. Shout out to him. Played for the Buccaneers. He cold. But, man, that happened. And I was, balling when they gave me a chance, and they definitely had to discipline me because I was just making screw-ups. But then, I'm like, okay, cool. Next year, I had 3 years left to play. So I'm like, I got it. But then guess what happened? 2019, end of 2019, going to 2020, everybody thinking the world's safe. Then we get hit with the biggest pandemic ever. Not going to say the word. We know what the word is. And because of that situation that happened, I'm thinking I have another opportunity to play football and prove myself, but now the whole world stops. So because the whole world stopped, I'm sitting there like, dude, what? Like, what am I supposed to do with this opportunity? But then I don't think about the what ifs and the negatives. I never look at the glass half empty. I always look at the glass half full. So instead of me saying, woe is me, I said, okay, this is my opportunity. Because I knew they would give everybody an NCAA an extra year eligibility, and I graduate with my bachelor's degree, go play somewhere else. I didn't have that much film. Besides my junior college, and besides the little film I had from Richmond, and hopefully a good word, I didn't have no other film, but I took that risk. So I hopped in the portal. Never heard of the transfer portal. It's first year. I hopped in the portal. And when I hopped in that portal, I got re-recruited, and some of the schools I got recruited by, they were FCS. I didn't get any big FBS offers or anything like that. They were FCS, and that's cool. That's still Division I. But one of the schools I couldn't even take a visit to. I couldn't take a visit to one of the schools I was going to because of what. So I went to this school not even knowing what the school looked like. Not even knowing if they have real locker rooms besides what you show online. But the coach that recruited me, it's the same coach that recruited me when I was at junior college, and he was at a Division II school. He moved up, remembered my name in our interaction because I didn't one-up him, and he gave me a chance. And I got a Division I offer to Abilene Christian University out there in Texas. So now I'm playing football again. I get to continue my college career and get my MBA, and I get to play football. It's pretty dope, right? So now I'm at Abilene Christian, and I'm focused now. Not playing around, having fun in moderation. Like, I'm focused. I am like head driven. So yeah, I played at Abilene Christian, man. Showed all these highlights, man. Look at this. Look at this, man. Oh yeah, I remember this play. Oh yeah, let's get Sam Houston. I think they ended up winning the championship that year. Oh yeah, end up stacking. Yep, that's my first TFL. Going against some big dogs. Oh, that receiver, bro, he was talking so much mess. He was cold, though. Oh, yeah. I be celebrating on the field, man. Yeah. I be celebrating on the field. You got to be in character, bro. You can't be stiff on the field. Oh, yeah, I was a punt guy, specialist, gunner, all that. Love being on punt. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we played against Sam Houston. We got our head twaxed. Man. Look at that. Third down. Can't stop me. Man. College football was lit. Playing college sports is lit, period. College football, man, that brings out such a competitive drive in me that once you graduate, like, it's hard to replace for sure. So then, then I get my second year. This is my last year of college. And that year was the biggest adversity I've ever faced in my life. You know, I went from a starter to now I'm rotating, and now my snaps went from the whole game to now it's like, yeah. And like attitude wise, I had to control my attitude a whole bunch because it seemed unfair. It truly seemed unfair. And that's when I learned about being stoic and controlling my emotions and stuff, because at the end of the day, you are as valuable as they see you as. And because they didn't see me as valuable as the last, because we had a different coaching staff now, they didn't see me as valuable, I didn't play as much. But I just waited for my opportunity. And it was like string of luck for why I even got on the field. Not even lying to use a string of luck. But when my number got called, whether it was 5 plays a game or not, I showed up. Man. Look at this clip. My first career interception. Played like 10 snaps that game. You see what the time is, 4th quarter. Iced the game. Stopped it. Stopped the game. You know, I remember how, you know, my teammates in the locker room, they sat there, it was like proud of me because everyone else around knew what was going on. And that camaraderie, bro, you just miss that stuff. You truly miss that stuff. Like playing college football I played on 4 different college teams, had 4 different groups of people who all looked at me in 4 different ways, but it was still a camaraderie, still a brotherhood, you know, and I'm still cool with them. Like even Air Force, I went to some of the Air Force games or bowl games years after I left. Man, you can't replace that. You can't replace stuff like that. And especially as a guy, like that's the closest thing to what men had back in the 1900s when you used to go to war. You know, World War I and II, you know, and you went out there with dudes you've never met before and y'all fight for each other's lives. That's how it really feel, like to a T, like a grain of salt. But that's how it feels in football field. A lot of dudes, they feel like they're fighting for each other. Like you be in the locker rooms and listen to the speeches. You think it's like you about to go out there and go to war, because technically you are. You facing some dudes that you're not supposed to like. You're supposed to want to behead them. You're supposed to want to take their heads off because that's how they see you. And they bring out that, people call it that dog in you, but they bring out a certain level of like masculinity in a dude that is probably harbored most of the time. Because when can you legally go and hurt another person without getting charged with any type of felony or assault? Legally. You know, it's only sports. And football is the biggest one. I could be going against a guy who's 6'5", 300 pounds. I would never fight in the middle of the street. But today, I'm about to show you I got balls. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to show you that I got grit. You know? And then I'm, you know, because I'm, you know, borderline at 5'11", I'm facing receivers. 6'3", 6'4" receivers are thinking, man, I'm finna little boy you. Please. I ain't never been taking up top. Might give up a fade ball, but deep ball, deep post, something like that, you ain't gonna see nothing over the 20 yards. We trailing behind. Nah. I got legs. I got speed for that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah. College football, man, it was a time. It was starting to rain. College football was a time. I would never, ever, ever, ever replace that. So why would I go to college football? Why would I perform and why would I choose to play college football? I think let's rephrase that to all college sports, but particularly college football. College football brings out a certain camaraderie due to the amount of players on the field and the type of level of intensity that you get on the field that you will never get in another sport. You are putting on protection to belittle and act berated and take off another man's head for 60 minutes, which is a long 60 minutes, but 60 minutes, and then dap each other up and say, I respect you. It is the quickest way to give respect, and it's the quickest way to gain respect. I think any man, whether you're a walk-on or you're just a ball boy, to witness and be in that environment for, 2 to 4 years on the college level, where now it's a business. When NIL, it is a business. You definitely gonna see like how the real world. It's the smallest taste of what the real world is. And all the coaches that I met, they've all taught me something. Even if I didn't like them, they've all taught me something. All the coaches I met, I remember something from probably every coach that I have gotten in contact with and spoken to. So I would definitely recommend college sports, and I definitely recommend college football, because trust me, you're gonna learn about business. You're gonna learn how the real world works playing college football now more than ever. Great time to be alive, man, especially during that time.